giant trucks, giant theme parks, and even more giant alligators. That's right, in today's episode of the vlog, I'm talking all about Florida. That's coming right up after this. Hello everybody, how are you doing? And welcome to today's episode of the vlog. My name is Shaun and I'm a YouTuber from Edinburgh, right here in Scotland. On this channel I talk all about Scottish culture, I talk about travel and adventure, and sharing the Scottish culture with all the communities around the world who feel connected in some way or another to me, to my content, and the country that I live in. And in today's episode I'm going to tell you a wee story about my first experiences in the sunshine state of Florida. I've been doing a wee bit of a series on this very theme. I've talked already about my first experiences of the United States as a whole. I've talked about my experiences of Texas, and now I'm talking about Florida because it did make up a part of our trip that was important and I need to talk about it. But before we get into that, I just want to say welcome to everybody. Thank you so much for being here. It is great to have you on my channel, and if you're new, please do not forget to hit that red subscribe button down in the bottom corner. Then you will be part of the family from here on in. Don't forget to also hit the notification bell, because then YouTube might even bother once in a while to show you my new videos. Florida has a certain magic about it, especially among people from the United Kingdom, Britain, Scotland, everywhere here on this side of the pond. And to be honest with you guys, I'd say it's probably the better known state in America among people from here. Why is that? Well, I remember as I grew up, as a kid, it was the cool place where all the cool families, the better off families as well, used to take their kids on holiday. It was a place all the mums and dads wanted to go to kind of prove to all the other mums and dads that they were the richest. My mum and dad couldn't afford it, so we never went. But all the rich mums and dads did. And plus, it's a place where even among those parents who used to go every single year, they used to try and outdo each other with the bigger holiday villas and the bigger rental cars. It's all a bit mad. But that's what just happened, right? Florida was a kind of status symbol among Scottish parents and their families, their kids. The more popular kids always seemed to go there, and it became this kind of built up, mythical, magical place that was really unattainable for most of us, but we all wanted to go. And I think, to be honest with you, part of the attraction is all the amazing parks that kids go and enjoy. Disney World, and I could be wrong on this, but I would be willing to bet that it's actually the most visited place in America by British people. And I think one of the other things is, especially nowadays, like we're talking 15 or 20 years since I was in school, I think nowadays it's probably one of the cheaper places in America you can go from here because of all the package deals that you can get with all the tour line operators. So with Florida kind of built up in my head as this amazing place, when I found out that I was going to be going to Florida, Orlando in Florida, I was so excited. And as a lot of you guys know, I went on an Exploring American Values tour, a cultural exchange with the United States Embassy to the UK just over a year ago. It was an excellent trip, and this Florida section was part of it. So that's why I'm talking about it in today's vlog, despite the fact I'm wearing a North Carolina t-shirt, the place where I'm going to be going this year. Very excited about that, but we'll find out about that further down the road. So here I am listing 8 things I really want to talk about in regards to Florida, okay? And I'm going to be keeping some of the best and most interesting ones for the end, so you're going to want to hang on in this video until the end. Number 1, and I have talked about this before, okay, in relation to my trip to America and all the different climates and stuff, but my goodness, Florida, stepping off the plane at Florida's airport was like being punched in the face or having a door of hot air just slammed in you. It was unbelievable, right? Now listen, I have been to some tropical places in my life. I've been in the middle of the Amazon rainforest, okay? But I don't think I've ever felt in my life humidity like I felt in Florida. It was like the air that we were breathing there was thick, you know? It was like breathing soup. I'd really never felt something that intense with heat before. It was really incredible. And you know what? Pretty much throughout the whole entire trip of my stay in Florida, I stayed a hot, red-skinned, sweaty mess. All because of that heat that I'm just talking about. The humidity was unbelievable. It was like walking around in a tropical rainforest. I had never experienced that outside of a rainforest before, so it was really, really unusual, crazy. And like, it took some time to get adjusted to it. In fact, to be honest with you, I don't think I did get adjusted to it throughout my trip. Number 2, Orlando, okay? We were staying in Orlando in a hotel, you know, maybe about half a mile from the downtown area. And what I will say about Orlando, my first impressions of Orlando specifically, is it's a little bit of a weird city. I don't know why my kind of reference point, the place that I imagine when I think about Florida in terms of cities, is Miami, right? Those big built up glassy buildings you've got down by the beach all cramped in together. It looks very modern, very bustling, but Orlando was really different. It just was not what I had in my mind, right? Of course, the downtown area does have some big glass modern buildings, but it's actually a really small area. Orlando, in general, the city is bizarre in that it's just so spread out. Apart from that built up area in the middle, really the rest of it is like endless roads and highways with various spread out communities of holiday villas for as far as you can drive basically. And blooming hell, a lot of swimming pools. Pools in every single garden. I like that. And then you had so many awesome green spaces in between all these different communities. So you'd have the spread out community with lots of trees in between, almost like patches of forest and then big lakes in between it. So Orlando really, the centre was small, but it was just spread out so vastly. It literally took hours to get from one side to the other with the traffic as well. But I did feel like that layout was kind of weird. Like Orlando, I imagined this big, massive, bustling city, which it just didn't appear to be. You know, it might be a big city with a big population, but those people are spread out over a vast area. Number 3, and oh my goodness guys, in Florida, the people, you guys do things big. Really big. You know, here in Scotland, I drive a tiny little car, right? It's just a 2 doors, 3 doors technically, a small tiny car, which is perfect for our streets here in Scotland because our streets are narrow and tiny. To find a car park in the city centre, you need to literally have a tiny wee car, otherwise you're just not going to fit, right? I had never in my life seen, for example, the size of vehicles that you guys have in Florida. They are absolutely enormous. You know, the trucks that you guys drive are really impressive, right? You come up to the bonnet and the thing's like staring at you from up here. And you're thinking, I don't know whether to jump in the front seat or run away from the thing. Look like monster trucks that you can legally drive on the road, basically. But as well as these big trucks, you also had the massive RVs driving around everywhere. And then the trucks that transport goods to and from like big shops and stuff. Wow, they were crazy. Like, I'd literally never seen anything like it before. In Florida, you guys do things big, right? And that takes me on to my next point, right? You guys also do really big stores. Now listen, it pains me severely to say that in that trip to Florida, I never made it out to any of your mega stores, right? Which was definitely something I wanted to do. Something I want to do when I come back to America, okay? Because your mega stores are like nothing that we have here. However, I did make it to an outdoor shop, right? I don't know if many of you guys know this because I don't really talk about it, but I'm a fisherman, right? I go fishing with my friends. Not so much nowadays, but I used to be massively into fishing. And everybody told me, Shaun, when you go to Florida, you need to go and see the sports shops, outdoor sports shops. So I went with my friend, right? As it happened, my friend from Scotland was there with his family at the same time, and we went to a fish and tackle shop. Listen, as somebody who's been into fishing since a kid, like, I like fish and tackle shops. I just like being in them and looking around at all the stuff. They're basically big kids' toy shops, okay? But this place literally blew my mind. I had never seen such a big selection and variety of stuff. The place was enormous. Like, it must have been like half a mile wide or something. And it was just filled with all different types of stuff that you could imagine for outdoors sports, whether that is like mostly fishing, right? They also had like lots of camping gear, stuff for like walkers and hunters and bow and arrows, all kinds of stuff they had in that place. It was unbelievable. I had never seen a shop like that before. So like I said, if the fish and tackle shop was that size, I am really intrigued to see what your supermarkets are like over there because they must be ginormous. Okay, the next thing, I had no idea there was such a big NASA presence in Florida. I don't know why this impression came in my head that NASA is a thing from like Houston in Texas, right? But anyway, the US Embassy hooked us up with some tickets to go to the Kennedy Space Center in Florida, near Orlando, and blooming hell, it was impressive. I really enjoyed that day to that place. It's an experience I'll never forget, and like in the UK, we don't really have like a massive space industry. It's something I think we're building out, but listen, for us, the home experts, the people that we look up to on such matters as space is NASA, right? It kind of makes us feel comfortable to know that NASA exists here. It just feels like NASA have got things under control no matter what's going on. They'll tell us, they'll keep us informed. Such an awesome trip to the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. I really enjoyed that. And if any of you guys are in Florida and you're going on holiday there, I recommend it. Number 6, okay? Now I know Florida has some spectacular beaches, and that is the image that I had in my head. All these amazing beaches that you guys have, and you look at the like Miami coastline down to the Florida Keys, and then definitely on the Gulf side. It's spectacular beaches, right? We've seen them in all the brochures, right? But we were taken to a place called Cocoa Beach. How can I say this politically? It wasn't a bad beach, but it was a normal beach. It felt as if it was the type of beach that we have in the UK, right? Not any more spectacular, not any better. Of course, the weather was damn sight better, that's for sure. But listen, the beach at Cocoa Beach was kind of, I don't know, it was like a little bit average. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was fine. It's just, it wasn't spectacular. It was nothing I would write home about. And also adding to that, when we went there in June, it was kind of dead. Although a lot of the locals told us it's the kind of place that fills up and gets really busy during spring break in particular. That's not something we even know about in the UK, but spring break is a thing. Anyway, Cocoa Beach, not my favorite beach in the world, and I was a little bit disappointed we didn't get to see some of the spectacular beaches that you guys have in Florida. I love the beach. I love like being in the water and swimming, although I don't really want to get my arse chomped off by a giant shark. Thank you very much, Florida. But I love the beach, and I'm sure I'll be back to Florida to see some of your spectacular beaches, but Cocoa Beach just wasn't it. Speaking of giant animals, okay, number 7. There was one day, early in the morning, I got up at like 7 or 8, I can't remember what time it was, went out of the hotel to a lake that was probably about a mile away from a hotel. I went to fly the drone over the lake, get some nice pictures. It was lovely, beautiful, peaceful. Like they had all these reeds around the side of it and stuff. It was just a really pleasant place to be. This local man came up to speak to me. We had a great chat about life in general and everything, really, right? But as I was like getting down to the water to get my drone and stuff, he was like, yo, be careful. There are giant alligators in that water over there. And I was thinking to myself, what, really? I always imagine like alligators and stuff were just like some kind of fictional thing, but I'm forgetting we're in Florida and actually they do exist, big massive alligators, and sure enough, we saw one. You can bet I did not stay close to that water's edge after that, right? Now, a lot of you guys who are experts on the area, know the wildlife, know how to treat the wildlife, you'll be saying, not a big deal. They're not scary, like they wander onto our golf courses and all that kind of stuff, right? But I don't know what they can do. I don't know how to handle them. I love nature, but I still don't know what I'm doing with an alligator, so I stepped back from that water's edge quickly as I could. So yeah, Florida has got some pretty amazing wildlife. Like I said, I'd love fishing. I would love to go fishing in Florida. But I think in my first few times, I will be going with a local expert who knows the water and knows the wildlife that exists there and can tell me what to do and how to avoid them. And number 8, this is something I had been building up to, I felt like, for my whole entire life. Every kid's dream, right? Disney World. Of course the embassy were going to take us to Disney World, right? And like I said, it's just a place that's been built up in our minds in UK. It's like the kind of high point of achievement in your life is a trip to Disney World. You've made it if you've went to Disney World. Here I was with the US Embassy and a bunch of people that I'd never really met before who'd all come together from the UK for this cultural exchange mission, and we were going to Disney World. It was so amazing. Listen, that day was so much fun. I had amazing experiences. Space Mountain was incredible. The big log flume thing where you get soaking wet was like Splash Mountain, is it called? Splash Mountain was phenomenal. I really enjoyed the day. A couple of things about the experience in Disney World. It was a lot busier than I expected, right? I should have known this. I know it's a busy place, right? But I didn't expect it to be that busy. And like, even though we had the whole day there from like 9 or 10 in the morning until 5 at night, really, you only get to go on one handful of big rides in that day, if you're lucky. And let me tell you, in the Florida heat, standing in queues for hours, it's quite tough, okay? It was a great experience, I really enjoyed it, but wow, you wait in some lines. But nonetheless, it was a cool experience and it felt like kind of mission accomplished. I'd been to Disney World. And obviously, if you go to Florida, right, especially if you're family, this is why so many British people go to Florida. It is a place to go. And like just an overall summary, I really need to kind of give you guys. Our trip to Florida, in the kind of scheme of things, and our total trip was pretty short. It was only really maybe 3 days in total. And what I could say is, it's a massive state. This is something I didn't really realize until being there, but Florida is blooming huge. I think Florida is probably bigger than the entire British islands put together, and that means like it's going to take several trips to explore it. I want to come back and see more, right? Obviously, because like I said, the Keys would just be an amazing experience. I want to do that. I want to see the Gulf side. I want to go fishing. I want to go to more theme parks. We only went to Disney World, and I know you guys have got like dozens of the most giant theme parks in the world. We also had some amazing food experiences in Florida. We went to some real home cooking places off the beaten track that was put together by the embassy. Really enjoyed that. The Florida food barbecues were amazing, and generally speaking, we met some really wonderful, friendly people. Really enjoyed it. And Florida to me just seems like you can say, go big or go home. And I definitely want to go big again in Florida. Wow, your country is blooming enormous. There's so many places to explore. I'm definitely going to North Carolina this year. I can't wait for that. And who knows where else. I'm thinking of ways that I can make a grand trip of the United States and see lots of the places that, you know, I would never have imagined, and really connect with cultures of Scottish people, people of Scottish ancestry around mostly the United States, definitely Canada as well. I don't know how like a giant trip like that could come together, make it into a massive documentary, right? Imagine that, me going to America to kind of discover Scottish people, because there's more of you in America than there is in Scotland. I would love to do that. I don't know how I'm going to put it together. I'll think of ideas, but any of your ideas, please let me know down in the comments below. Imagine that for a cultural exchange, a proper one, not just 1 or 2 weeks. And guys, listen, I want to point out these names down below right now. These people support my content at higher levels on patreon.com. All that money goes towards helping me produce this content. You can join them from as little as $1 a month. Guys, thank you so much for watching until the end. You are a legend. Like I said, it is great to have this conversation with you every single week. here on my channel. Guys, until the next episode, until the next adventure, I hope you have a good night, morning, evening, afternoon, or whatever time of day it is wherever you are in the world. Take care.